Our second lesson this morning comes from Psalm 103, verses 1 through 12. Today's lesson and sermon on the Psalms will be the last of our four in our series on the Psalms. Let us listen together for the voice of the Lord. Bless the Lord, O my soul. All that is within me, bless God's holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and do not forget all God's benefits, who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good things as long as you live, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord works vindication and justice for all who are oppressed. God made known God's ways to Moses, God's acts to the people of Israel. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord will not always accuse, nor will God keep anger forever. The Lord does not deal with us according to our sins, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so great is God's steadfast love toward those who fear the Lord. As far as the east is from the west, so far God removes our transgressions from us. Holy wisdom, holy word. Thanks be to God. When I was a kid, I would disappear for hours on end in Brookhaven, the neighborhood of my childhood home. My mom still lives there on Cherry Lane in Marion, Indiana. It was a great neighborhood to grow up in. During the summer, there were very few rules for us kids. Be home before dark. Don't go into anyone's home you were not invited into. Don't go to the pond without adult supervision. Stay away from the spillway. Be nice, and don't leave anyone out. That was it. Our summer days consisted of swinging on the swings in the valley and eating homemade popsicles at the Baldwin's house, riding bikes, running through the woods, playing freeze tag, and for me, skipping rocks across the pond for hours on end. And there's a lot involved in that activity, really. It starts with finding just the right rock, heavy enough to go a decent distance, round, smooth, and flat, at least on one side. Then it took a proper arm angle and velocity. And I tell you, there were some amazing skipping rocks on the shore of the pond in Brookhaven. And my mom always knew that if she was missing me, she would likely find me there skipping rocks. And some of those rocks were so good that I just couldn't let them go into the water. Those rocks came home with me. And I guess I've kind of always had an affinity for rocks. In fact, when I was 5 or 6, I would go out into the neighborhood to collect rocks, pulling my radio flyer wagon behind me. I would grab nearly any rock I could lift, and I'd put it in the wagon and bring it home, much to my mother's chagrin. And once there, I would get out my praying watercolors. Remember those? The cool rectangular flip-top case with the ovals of color and that little itty-bitty paintbrush. Well, I would take my paints and spend the next several hours painting the rocks, vibrant reds and greens and blues and yellows. And when my art project was finished, I would put all the rocks back in my red radio flyer wagon and return to the streets of the neighborhood and back to the neighbors' houses where I found the rocks I'd go up to the door. Sounds like you know where this is going. I'd ring the doorbell and ask whoever answered the door if they would like to buy a rock. Perhaps the very rock I took from their driveway or their neighbor's flower garden. Now, you'd be surprised how many people would give a cute little blonde kid from the neighborhood 50 cents or even $1 for a badly painted rock from their own yard. But they really would. Now, I didn't know then, and I actually only recently discovered that my parents would often call the neighbors to apologize on my behalf and offer to return them their money. I confess I still find rocks that I can't help but put in my pocket or my backpack, or at least take a picture of. I find them fascinating and beautiful, sparkling quartz and surprising geodes, colorful agates, petrified wood. Now, don't worry, I promise not to try to sell them to you, at least not right now. But I might point out one or two to you if you happen to be with me when I see them. And unfortunately, it seems as though I've passed this affinity for rocks and rock collecting on to Allison, or maybe they just naturally acquired it completely on their own. Whatever the case, when Allison was small, Jennifer and I would often find ourselves with pockets or backpacks full of rocks when we were on vacation, walking at the beach, or just out for a walk in the neighborhood or at a local park. Now, you know, there's a funny thing about rocks. They get really heavy after a while. And we all have rocks, don't we? Some may be physical collections like my painted rock garden from my youth, or the random jars of rocks that I still have in my house now. But I would guess that each one of us probably at least has a metaphorical rock collection. Now, these rocks are different. They go by different names. We are likely even more familiar with them than we are with the rocks and stones we find out in nature. They're named regret, broken promise, missed opportunity, failure, guilt, shame. Now, some of these are stones that we've picked up along the way, and others have been given to us to carry by someone else. We put them in our little red wagon, load them up in our pockets, fill up our backpacks. We carry them with us as we travel, wherever it is that we go. Funny thing about these rocks, they get really heavy after a while. They can even overburden us. Now, here's the thing. I'd like you to listen close. We don't have to carry them. We really don't. We can put them down. Listen again to the word of the psalmist who penned Psalm 103. It's credited to David, the shepherd boy, warrior, musician, and king. Now, whether or not he was actually the one who wrote these words matters little. Regardless, they are incredibly beautiful and so wonderfully freeing. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and do not forget all God's benefits, who forgives your iniquity, who heals your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good as long as you live, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord does not deal with us according to our sin, nor repay us according to our iniquities. For as the heavens are high above the earth, So great is God's steadfast love for us. As far as the east is from the west, so far God removes our transgressions from us. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. As the heavens are high above the earth, so great is God's steadfast love toward us. As far as the east is from the west, so far has God removed our transgressions from us. Absolutely beautiful. Now, what are we to do with all of these rocks? All of the rocks that we have collected. We've become so familiar with them. It's safe to say some of them maybe even have become our pets. What are we to do? Well, we know the story. We've heard it a couple of times already this morning. But maybe we need to hear it all over again. This morning, when we all gathered, we started everything off speaking words and singing praises together. And then, immediately after that, we were confronted with our own frailty. Now, we do this every week, not because somehow we have forgotten our brokenness. No. We do this because sometimes we feel alone in the midst of it. So we speak words of confession together as a reminder that we are all in this sometimes messy thing that we call life together. We have a shared common human experience of regret, brokenness, broken promises, missed opportunity, failure, guilt, shame. But every week, every single week, right here at this font, we hear words similar to the ones that Pastor Karen spoke not long ago. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. This gives us confidence, she proclaimed, confidence to approach God with our full selves in all our glory and grime. Friends, you see, we come to this time so that we remember something. We come not because we think we can earn God's favor, God's forgiveness, or love. No, to think that would be to have it upside down. We come to the time of confession because we are forgiven already. It is the nature of the divine. It is woven into the fabric of the entire universe. Begin again. It's human. It's our natural tendency. We'll pick these rocks back up again and again, the ones that we've already put down. But maybe, friends, just maybe today, we can find freedom in the words of the psalmist and in the waters of this font. As they remind us of this truth, we can leave these stones behind. These rocks that we have collected over the years, they don't define us. we are forgiven and free to try again. So unburden yourself, because your burdens have already been lifted, all of them. You don't have to carry them anymore. Now, I will take this rock home with me today, and I will place it in my flower garden as a reminder that today, at least today, I put it down. But for now, it's going to sit right there as a reminder that I no longer carry it. Friends, we're forgiven, unburdened, and free to begin again.